Every episode on Celebrity Encounters podcast, we interview real people just like you, sharing their own personal celebrity encounters. And with a little storytelling help from us and a few surprises from here in Las Vegas, this is Celebrity Encounters Podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Celebrity Encounters Podcast. I am Harlan.
And I'm Alan.
He is Alan, and we have a fantastic guest for you. This guy has had more celebrity encounters than any hooker I know. And I say that with jest and positiveness. I don't know where that came from.
Probably the strip.
Literally and figuratively. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. So today,
Bump.
exactly.
Rim shot. Okay.
So who do we got going on today here, Alan?
We have Tony Camacho
Tony
is with
Camacho!
us today. Hi, Tony.
Woo-woo!
All right. Yes.
He's like, will you two calm down? It's early in the morning here in Las Vegas.
Simmer down now.
That's right.
That's great.
So, Tony, we understand you have a celebrity encounter to drop on us. Drop some names on us before you tell us the story.
Well, this actually included Penny Marshall, as you know, was Laverne and Shirley.
You betcha. Huge name.
Over at the Shots Brewery up in Milwaukee.
That's that one ringy D. No, wrong
No,
person.
no.
No.
And a couple of newcomers by the name of Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington.
Oh.
What?
Was this during the ER days for Denzel?
No, it was after. It was after.
Okay.
He was doing the movie The Preacher's Wife.
Okay.
And,
the movie Preacher's Wife. Okay.
Yeah. And my daughter was fortunate enough to get a small bit part in it, where she was doing some stuff with Sesame Street. She's only about 7, 8 years old, and they asked her to do this part in that movie. And it was shooting a scene in New Jersey in a church that sat about maybe 200 people. Place was packed with extras. It was 98 degrees, no air conditioning, so they had fans going on all over the place, but the place was still sweltering. And I was standing in the very back of the room behind the cameras. To my right was Denzel going over his lines to the wall, and Whitney Houston was to sing a song, and my daughter was part of the procession walking. And if you watch the movie, you'll see her too. She's walking up the aisle as one of the farm animals, but they had her play the part of a lamb. So she had this wool costume on that was sweltering.
Oh my gosh.
So she gets up to the front.
Wait a second. I got to hold on for a second because I'm still mind blown here of Whitney, right? Penny, like all in the room at once. Now, I know you're a showbiz guy that you deal with, big name comics and that kind of stuff. Were you starstruck by being in this kind of room?
I was sort of, because I kept looking to my right saying, that's Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
looking
absolutely.
at the wall going over his lines, the funny thing, just very quickly, Whitney would sing songs to all the extra over and above the production. So that was a treat to see her do that. She was singing gospel songs and things like that.
A mini concert. On the spot, mini concert, Whitney Houston.
So, because I know on a film set, there's a lot of downtime, an enormous amount of downtime.
Absolutely.
So you're saying when those downtimes were happening and all the extras were like, we're dying, it's 180 degrees in here and it's New Jersey, Whitney would just break into some gospel?
Well, they would say, we'll do a sound check. And she says, well, let me sing something. She'll start to sing a song and she'll stop and everybody, okay, I'll sing the rest of the song.
Wow. How cool is that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And like you say, production time is a lot of downtime, but production time is extremely expensive because you got cameramen and, all the people involved with that. The situation with my daughter was the fact that she was, this procession came in, she's sitting up front with this costume on, and they're shooting a scene that Whitney's speaking, and all of a sudden I see Penny Marshall go, hold it, cut, everybody stop on the set. Everybody and she looks at my daughter. I was like, oh my gosh. And my daughter's like, you guys got to get through this thing. It's hot. This thing is, it's hot. This thing you got me in. And Penny
Out of the
Marshall's
mouth of babes, man.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And Penny, Penny's up there. Okay, little girl, just take it easy. We'll get through this as quickly as possible. Please just bear along with it. Well, you should better hurry up because this thing is hot. I'm like, oh my gosh, my daughter is not going to be here tomorrow.
Right, because next up, what happens is Penny goes off, whispers into there, whose
Right.
father is this of this kid?
Right? I'm thinking that's it. I really thought that would be the end of her showbiz career.
You're like, not my kid, not my kid.
So they get through the scene, and my daughter, and I couldn't, go with the crew and everything, the staff. She goes backstage, and that evening I go to pick her up, and she comes out, and she's got pictures of her with Penny Marshall, just her and Penny Marshall, her and Whitney Houston. Like, what the hell is going? She made herself of enough of a spectacle that they just took a liking to her. Started taking pictures.
Wow.
So the whole thing turned around, and it was great. And she ended up after that got a few offers for a few other things that was kind of nice.
Well, of course, because when she was submitted, they submitted with the pictures of her and Whitney, her
Right.
and Denzel.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I tell you a quick other situation that happened. Since she got these offers, I figured, I work in the business, but I'm not going to try to sit here and be
a
showbiz
momager.
mom. Yeah, showbiz mom, so to speak. So I got one of the best managers I knew in the business. I'm in New York City. I found the best manager to represent her. I go for a meeting for her, and I just picked my daughter one of those mornings that she just didn't want to be bothered. I take her in to see this manager to interview, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be a showbiz mom, so that's the reason why I'm here. So after a few questions, the manager says, you don't want to be here, do you? She says, no. He says, why not? Why are you here? Because my dad brought me. It's like, oh my God. And after she said that, I said, let's go. Come on, let's go. No, let's go. This is over. But fortunately, she was represented by him. He actually got her reading for a Spike Lee movie that she got to the last part, and reading for Spike Lee, and was about to do the movie. I forget the name of the movie, but they substituted the part with a young. They needed a male instead of a female, so she didn't get the role. But it was a lot. It was fun, the stuff that she did.
And
but
is she still acting today?
she doesn't. She actually is been. She's married. I got a granddaughter.
Congrats.
So she's got a way out of the business, and she works for a dentist. So, but she's happy. She's doing well.
But does she sing at the dentist's office?
No, but she probably speaks up just like she did.
She said, hey, it's hot in here. Turn the air conditioning up.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Yeah. But back to the stuff I did. For over 30 years, I've worked with comedians all over the country. Literally started out in a club in New York City that was when Eddie Murphy was 17, 18 years old. He would come in the club and work. I was the manager of the club. I'd get a call. I'd have some frantic person that worked there running down the hall, a waitress running down the hall. Tony, Eddie Murphy's on the phone. Eddie Murphy's on the phone. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I pick up the phone, and Eddie'd be like, hey, hi, Tony, how you doing? All right. You mind if I come by and do a spot at the club? No. He would come by and he would just destroy. I mean, everybody would love him. One thing that was interesting with him was the fact that one night he goes up on stage, rips up the room like you wouldn't believe. Everybody's cracking up. He comes off stage. They were still applauding when he came into the green room, and it was only myself and him in the green room. And he says, well, how did you think I did? And I said, that's still out there applauding for you. How you did. And he actually turned to me and says, I really can't tell listening to them. How do you think I did? You look at a lot of comics. How do you think? I'm like, you're asking me, but
See, this goes into that category of like what we were talking on another episode is what do you say to that person, especially, at the level that he is, you were great, Eddie.
Well, I mean, I couldn't say anything but good things about him, that he did a great job. So, and let him know that. In that same green room, a couple of weeks prior to that, they were redecorating the green room, and they had the place completely. They were painting it, so they took all the furniture out. They just had a desk and a chair in there, and we had Billy Crystal that was going to work this comedy club. It's called Rascals Comedy Club. It was in West Orange, New Jersey, and we had just top comics in the country. So we had Billy Crystal that was going to work there. He came in a limo and came down the back steps, went into the green room, but there was nothing in there but a table and a chair. And it was about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes before he was going to go on stage. He couldn't go out into the showroom because people would recognize him and it'd be a distraction. And I felt so bad for him because he came by himself and he's sitting there at the desk and I was like, can I get you something? No, I'm all right. 15 minutes later, I come back. You want a soda or something? No, I'm fine. And he's just didn't have notes or anything, just sat there. And I really felt for him because he had nothing to do before he hit that stage.
I can see this. I can see this green room like an interrogation room, right? A chair, a desk, and a light on him, right?
A light bulb swinging back and forth.
That's what it reminded me of, Yeah.
But as you know, like I have a ton of friends that are road comics, and they all tell me about the both the green rooms and the comedy condos that the clubs have, and they're terrified, dude. Like I would not go into one of those places without a hazmat suit on. Like seriously,
you're right about that. And some comics would rate the green room, the condo. I got out of the bed, and when I put my foot on the floor, it didn't stick to the floor. So I guess it is pretty good,
Oh yeah, like they didn't have black lights back then, and they should be so happy about that.
Oh my God!
See what the hell is all over. Honestly, like I went into one of them when I was visiting. I think I was in Shreveport, and the friend of mine said, "Oh, come on back to the condo, we'll hang out." And I'm like thinking, oh, this is going to be like luxurious and fabulous. I walked in and I was like, what the hell? I've never seen something more gross. And the refrigerator, never open the refrigerator. I learned that lesson.
You're 100% right.
It was a science experiment, right?
Oh, no, 100%. There was stuff. Yeah, it was bad.
There's a full tree growing in there.
It would get to a point that comics got to the point that, well, I won't work the club unless I can stay at a hotel. I'm not going to stay at that green.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to Preacher's Wife, Whitney, Denzel, and Penny, did they know what your pedigree background was?
No, they didn't. It was completely autonomous of what I was doing, which in a way I felt. It was all right with me not to be connected at the time, that I didn't know that she'd do as well as she did, But I was just very fortunate to be able to get her in something like that,
Oh, sure. And what our audience may not know is when you have minors on the set, you have to have, depending on their age, you have to have a parent there or representative of them on set to ensure, because back in the day, when you were a child back in the 30s,
listen to this guy.
On the kettle black, right?
Yeah, right.
The kids back then weren't represented and were asked to do very long hours at very young ages. I can't remember the name of the law was based on, you may remember, it was that group of kids. There was
Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Our gang comedy.
Yeah. One of those kids, the labor law is named after them because those wonderful Little Rascals were so taken advantage of by the producers, director crews type of thing. It was bad. It was really bad.
Right.
So praise to you for being that dad right there on the set, hanging out with Denzel and Whitney.
That was fun, you know. One other thing I wanted to mention about being around those celebrities and guys that you know became celebrities. I would just recall not one other incident, but a couple of times we would have Damon Wayans come in and work the comedy club, and he would be closing the show. He would come in, and you know he'd come from the West Coast, so he would be jet lagged or whatever. He'd lay down on right at this time they had furniture in there. He lay down on the sofa, and he said, "Just let me know when I got to go on." Okay, and he would literally go sound asleep. And we would have to wake him up to say, "Listen, he's going to announce you any minute now." And the comic would start announcing him, and he's like, "You know, Danny, you got to get up." He'd get up and walk right onto the stage and start performing. Like,
wow.
I mean, I was in awe of the fact that he went from a sound sleep to walking in front of 300, 400 people. You know, so
I like him. He's funny.
Yeah,
he's a good comic. He really
he's the only
is.
real comic in that family too, in my opinion. You know,
yeah, I agree.
Genuinely very funny. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's good.
So when you wake up in the morning, are you instant on, or is there a drag? And I'm not talking about putting on a wig.
I'm instant on because for most of my life, I had to get up and out quickly.
What were you, a fireman or something?
Yep.
I'll tell you.
Especially when I was doing the radio show.
Yeah.
And we started at 7 in the morning.
Right.
So I had to get up very early because it was a 45-minute drive from the suburban Chicago down. I was downtown Chicago. We were in the Hancock building. We were on the 64th floor of the Hancock building. The radio station was. And you wanted to get there about an hour before, at least, to talk to your producer and
show prep.
You're right. Get everything ready so that when you went on the air, you weren't bumbling with papers and things like that. You knew exactly what was going on. You had everything listed. So I would get up in the morning and I would talk to myself because on the radio, you have to talk.
Alan? Yes, Alan. How are you, Alan? I'm good, Alan.
You have to talk. So I'd be in the shower and talking and getting myself ready for the day. So, yeah, I would get up from a sound sleep and boom, right into the shower and start talking. And I had the radio on listening to the guy that was in front of me that did the overnights. So,
Tony, how did you deal with that? Because as a comedy guy, those are late, jobs type of thing. But then you got the kid, first thing in the morning, make me breakfast, take it to school.
Ironically enough, I lost my daughter's mom to leukemia when she was 5.
Oh.
So I raised her myself.
Wow, dude, respect.
It was, and I think back then, I would get up in the morning and I would make her breakfast. And while she was eating breakfast, I would do her hair. And not so much just the fact to do it, but I didn't want her going to school and the other teachers saying, "Have you seen Casey's hair?" And it's like, well, it's all right. She's with just her dad. So that's why it looks so horrible. So I would try to do my best to do it to the point that it went the other way, that people said, "Did you see Casey's hair? Can you believe that our father did that kind of a job? I'm braiding and twisting and stuff, But I can't believe I got up every morning, would take her to school at 3 o'clock. I'd be right there to pick her up. And I was like, I don't know how much I could do that right now.
For real. No, that's amazing. Truly, awesome. Because our audience might not know this, but, comedy clubs, the shows basically are roughly 7 to midnight, somewhere in that zone. And, you got to.
Let me tell you.
Tell me.
I also ran Grandpa's Comedy Club in Staten Island with Grandpa Munster.
Okay.
And, I would literally, I would be locked up today if I would get arrested probably for what I used to do, because the owner would only pay me Sunday night at around 11 o'clock. And my daughter's got to go to school the next morning. So I'd make a makeshift bed in the back of the car, drive to Grandpa's, park in the parking lot there, lock the doors, and go in to get paid. And the owner would be like, and Grandpa Munster, he was like, he was quite interesting. I mean, just put it that way. But the people he was working with that ran the club, they're like, don't worry, nobody's going to touch that car in this parking lot. You don't have to worry about a thing.
Oh, dang.
I realized years later, that was the case. That I didn't have to worry at all. But I would sit there for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. My daughter's sleeping in the back of the car, But this, wow.
Wow is right.
But it was interesting working with Grandpa Munster.
Have you worked any comedy clubs up here?
Here in Vegas?
Yes.
Well, the reason I'm here is because of Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
I've gone to his comedy club many times.
Yeah. He moved me out here when he first opened the club. He put this in lock, stock, and barrel, moved me and my family out here, me and my wife out here to run his comedy club. He knew I'd been doing it for a number of years, and he knew I do. And the first 3 years of the club, it was the #1 club in the country. After that, I worked for Last Comic Standing, the show, which after the season I worked it, the show was canceled. So, but 3 years I worked for Brad at the club. So I very much got involved with the clubs here on the West Coast.
In the basement of the MGM Grand, he used to get up on stage there and say, "Well, welcome to the palatial basement studios of the Brad Garrett Comedy Club here at the MGM Grand." He says, "They didn't have a space for me up top." So, but now he's got the brand new club that's up in that promenade area.
Yeah, and they have musical acts and things. I'll tell you an interesting story. It doesn't involve me with Brad, where he was telling us about the fact that when he had the opportunity to open for Frank Sinatra here in Vegas, and comics, they would love that opportunity to be able to open for a celebrity. But when he opened for him, he would go out, he'd do his spot, he'd finish, and Frank went up after him and he says, "Let's have a hand for Greg Barrett. Thank you, like Greg Barrett, And Brad's like, "That's not my name. I gotta let him know something." So he says, he probably just forgot for the night. So the next night he goes up, does the spot, comes off, "Greg Barrett, let's have a hand for Greg Barrett." And he says, "I gotta go say something to him about this." So he goes down to the third night show, he goes down to Frank Sinatra's dressing room to talk to him. Everybody knows Frank's situation. His
nobody tells Frank nothing.
Julie was the gatekeeper, and you don't tell Frankie he made a mistake. No, you don't do that.
Nope. So, you end up out in Lake Mead in a barrel.
Exactly. So Brad goes to the dressing room, knocks on the door, and says, and Julie comes to the door and Julie says, "What do you want?" "I just want to speak to Mr. Sinatra." Right. Listen, you just go walk back to your little dressing room, stay there. We'll let you know when you're going to go on. You don't talk to Frank, okay? So he says, whoa, what did you need to talk to him about? And he says, for the last two nights, he's been calling me Greg Barrett, and my name is Brad Garrett. And I just want to let him know that he made a mistake and he's saying my name wrong. And he says, "Okay, wait a minute, you're saying he said your name wrong?" He says, "Yeah, can you tell him?" And Julie says, No, I'm not gonna tell him. You tell him. Julie didn't even want to tell him that he's saying his name wrong, and he had him go in and say, "Mr. Sinatra, I'm sorry, but you had my name. Can you please correct my name?"
Did he correct it?
Julie wouldn't tell him. You tell him.
Did he finally correct it?
Yeah. Yep. The next by the third night, he corrected him.
Yeah, he called him Carol Burnett. Well,
Oh,
thank you so much for coming on this episode of Celebrity Encounters podcast. You're amazing.
It was great.
I could spend the rest of the afternoon with you guys telling stories.
Well,
I was a talent coordinator for Rodney Dangerfield. And
hold those stories. We've got more.
We're gonna have you back to tell more stories.
Okay. We can talk about Rodney then.
Yeah, because I don't get any respect.
Yes.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
I spent enough time with him, that's for sure.
This is Celebrity Encounters podcast.
I'm Alan Gerstner.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, that's Harlan Freeman. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Well, hold on. We're going to do another episode now about what was the what was on the list? Next week with the next episode of Celebrity Encounter Podcast.